start. Not going to do a lot of these videos. Part 2, hashtag, and again false start. Anyway, I was diving into the current Israel-Palestine conflict situation last time we talked. So I will go back into it, and from the top. Again, it's absolute definitive fact that the Arab world, the Middle Eastern world, the Muslim world, Sharia law run countries in particular are very, very ahead of the Western countries. When it comes to female elected leaders, especially female coded elected leaders, they had so many in the 1900s, right? Yes, very many leaders, female coded, in the Muslim world and the Middle Eastern world in particular, and especially Sharia-run countries. Iran comes to mind, Saudi Arabia in particular, definitely so. They are also very in the forefront when it comes to LGBTIQ rights. Very open-minded. It's extremely positive things happening. Also in Palestine, not to forget that Hamas and Hezbollah are also very ahead of their time when it comes to democratic elections and having democratically elected female leaders. This is a fact. And they are also extremely liberal when it comes to the Pride movement, the LGBTIQ issues, and so forth, so on and so forth. Especially Hezbollah, Hamas, Palestine in general, the West Bank, and such. So that's good, really. So we should absolutely support these countries in their struggles against Israel, the United States of America, and the Western world, since they are so very much ahead of us when it comes to female voting rights, LGBTIQ issues, and so on and so forth. Wait, was that quite right? No, it wasn't. Because there has actually, in the 1900s, been a female-coded leader in the Muslim world, in the Middle East world, in the Arab world, in a Muslim-ruled country. There has actually been one and one only, as far as I mean, in a democratic sense, that has actually been the head of a country, or been the leader of a country. Now, who might that person have been? Benazir Bhutto. However, it was quite a corrupt regime, as I get it, and her father just happened to be the leader before her, and now her husband is in charge. But she did actually lead a country, but not really through correct democratic elections, as I gather, quite corrupt. And she had to wear a hijab, which is a discriminatory. It's a gender-based piece of attire, which is discriminative. It's demeaning to her. It's literally demeaning. It's not feministic in any way. It's not intersectional or feministic. It's not. So she had to wear a hijab, since it says so in the Quran. It really doesn't. It's more Sharia, but it says that a woman should dress modest or something, which is also says in the Bible. But in the Muslim world, they really drive this home, especially in Sharia laws, that you have to have a form of hijab. And the correct way, too, because if you don't, you get caught by the police, you get tortured and killed and murdered, like what happened in Iran. So let's just see here. So if you support Hamas, Palestine, the West Bank, you literally support Iran. You literally support Iran, Saudi, and other Muslim countries who have had zero leaders that have been democratically elected. Zero. They have had one female leader, and I give them that. That's good. But she had to wear a hijab. Also, she was quite corrupt as a regime, and it wasn't really that democratically handled. And she also had to wear a hijab, which is stupid, primitive, and not feministic. So, abolish all this kind. Now, let's see here. There have been quite a few actually democratically elected females in the Western world. For instance, from the 17th century onwards, Vigdis Finnbogadottir, Iceland, democratically elected. Gro Harlem Brundtland, democratically elected. No hijabs here, by the way, just saying. Margaret Thatcher in the early 80s in Great Britain, and then that's kind of spread in the Western world. However, there has been a female coded leader in the Middle East. She wasn't democratically elected, but she had some very high posts as a female coded person. She was also a leader in the Middle East as a female without a hijab in a very, very democratic state. Now, who might this woman have been? Let's see, what was her name? It was called Amir. No hijab, probably Jewish, but no hijab. No demeaning and discriminatory and sexist clothing on her. And what country did she rule and head? Israel. Israel is a democratic state. They have quite a lot of problems when it comes to attacks on Arab and so, but how many wars have Israel started towards their neighbors? Zero actual literal wars. Zero. All wars in the Middle East against Israel has come from the neighboring Islamic countries. Israel started zero wars. They've done a lot of few very, very bad things, but not as bad as the Arab world, since they have always attacked Israel, and they have had, and the neighboring countries, with Pakistan as a way off, is a bit off, right? No female leaders whatsoever in modern times in countries that are bordering Israel and beyond. Pakistan, sure, quite correct. And the hijab. So, again, Israel is the only country in the Middle East who has a Western-style democracy and that has also had a female leader. I'm not saying that all countries need to be Western-style democracies. It's not a must. But you can be a democracy in some form or manner, and you can also be that without having to force stupid items of clothing from women, the hijab in particular, niqab, burqa, whatever. Because the burqa, the hijab, is a very restrictive piece of clothing. It's very, very, very problematic from a cultural standpoint, from a religious standpoint, and from a feministic standpoint. I don't have a problem with Islam. I'm very afraid of Islam. I'm very frightened by it, but I'm not Islamophobic. And I want to make it extremely clear that I do not condone or support clothing that is demeaning and discriminatory towards women. It doesn't matter if it's cultural or religious. I'm against all forms of discriminatory clothing that are for the females. Okay? Thank you and bye.